Welcome, beautiful people, to another special edition of your favorite program, My Story, His Glory. Today, as usual, we have another guest in the house. You know what we love to do? We like to bring to you people that can inspire you with their personal stories, with their life experiences, with what they've gone through and what has made them to achieve the much they have achieved so far in life. Once again, we have another special guest in the house. She is Mrs. Sophie David Jones. She's going to be introducing herself by herself, telling us what exactly she does and how she does what she does. So let's go over to Mrs. David Jones this beautiful day.
Well, good
Welcome to
morning.
our
Thank
studios.
you.
Welcome to
Thank
Life
you.
Center Network.
Thank you for having me.
Please, friends out there, would love for you to introduce yourself. Tell them exactly who Mrs. David Jones is.
Okay, I am Sophie, like you said.
All right.
Ifiok David Jones.
Beautiful.
I just stepped into the Ruby anniversary. I'm very excited about that. They call me Elder Sophie.
Congratulations.
I couldn't wait to get into the fourth floor. So
Interesting.
yes.
So how does it feel like being on this fourth floor?
You're like, is this it? Is this it? Is this the noise they were making? Well, I would say yes. We've learned to appreciate life more.
Sure.
Yes, we've learned to appreciate life. We've learned to celebrate every little thing because you don't take life for granted. Yes.
That's
yes.
a positive attitude.
Yes.
Okay. We've known you for quite a while now, and we've known that you do professional MC, you do public speaking, you are a linguist, I think, by training.
Yes.
Okay, and you're a mother.
Yes, I am.
I guess you're a worker or a leader in church.
Yes, I am.
All these different roles, how are you able to combine them together and still get on without breaking down?
Well, has it been easy? No. But is it worth it? Yes. I'm first of all my person. I like to do a lot of things. Like they say, women, we can multitask. So I think we're blessed in that aspect. I'm a teacher, an educator. I do part-time teaching.
Okay.
Circumstances made me resign from full-time teaching, and I am enjoying the part-time teaching. Going from places to places and doing what we call the barber job based on the hours you put in.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm able to control my hours
Okay.
of work and how I balance my home front as well.
Okay.
Now I teach French because I studied French in the University of Uyo, and I also teach social grace and etiquette.
I should have paid more attention to my French teacher while in school. This interview would have been done in French.
Oui.
So that our French viewers can also benefit.
Oui, monsieur. So I also teach social grace and etiquette because there is need to teach children or adults simple common courtesy, even to the way we sit down as ladies.
Social grace, is that what's about?
Yes, the way you sit, the way you work, the way you stand, your posture. Then it also has the aspect of your character, how you relate with people. It's very, very, very important. Your interpersonal skills, the way you talk with people. There's also an aspect of social grace that links into the public speaking as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
So you teach all of this to children of what age range?
I do from 5 and above.
Okay.
So I do the elementary and I also do the secondary and adults as well.
Is it gender based by any means? Is it for females or male children?
Mostly it's for females, but we've discovered that there is the gap in the male aspect. Chivalry is dead. You rarely find young men opening doors for ladies these days.
At least in this part of the world.
Yes. You rarely find them, bringing out a little thing as bringing out the chair for someone to sit down. So we're really considering that aspect to go into it fully for the young men, especially with what's been happening in the society. We're concentrating more on grooming the ladies, but the boys also need to be groomed.
Whoa.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. We'd like to know some of the things that you do aside the programs in schools, okay, the other things like the corporate MCing that you do or the professional speaking that you do or public speaking, how do you go about it? How does it work for you? Is it a paid business as well or just a passion?
Okay, right from my, okay, let me go back.
How you got into it?
Yes, how I got into it. Now, in my secondary school, I'd always loved to talk. I was quite smallish, so they used to call me small but mighty because my mouth would definitely go before my size. So when I finished school, I didn't get admission immediately into the university. I got a job as a librarian in a school.
Okay.
And I discovered that during the end of year party or something, they would always ask me to speak. And so I began to speak. When I gained admission into the university, when my friends do birthdays, they will ask me to coordinate and I will do it.
Okay.
So that then I was just doing it as fun, being that I love to talk. I will talk, I will organize it, and it would happen. Oh, so come forward now to 2014. I just resigned from my well-paying job and I was thinking of what to do when I met one of my wonderful classmates and friends, Joyce Daniels.
Okay.
So Joyce Daniels is also a professional speaker and an MC. She's going into the political space right now. So she said, "Oh, Sophie, I mean, we have this voice. Why don't we make money out of it?" And that was it. So I got professionally trained in the aspect. I began to read books on it, and that was how my big blow came.
Whoa.
Yes.
I like the progress.
Yes.
Or the process.
Yes.
She first began to volunteer.
Yes.
In her place of work.
Yes.
And then she developed an interest in the particular area of public speaking. And then, what happened?
I went for the training.
She was trained.
Yes.
Thereafter, she developed a business around that special gifts that she has.
Yes.
And then here we are today.
Yes.
Whoa.
In fact, I recall when I told my mom that, "Mommy, I want to become an MC." She's like, I'm not surprised. When I was growing up, I always used to stand in front of the television and hold, is it Garutona or objects? Yeah, something that makes me speak.
A trace of who you will become in the future, in your present or in your past.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
I love that. Is there a God factor in your journey so far?
If there is no God factor, then there is no me.
Wow.
Yes.
So everything you have talked about now was originated or orchestrated by the finger of God.
Yes.
How exactly did that happen? When did you discover that?
Okay, that was growing up.
Did you do anything in church as a little child?
Yes. This morning we even had a conversation with my mom. My kids are presenting in church for what's it called, Children's Day.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so my mom was like, "People should make sure you do it very well." Your mom used to do it very, very well. We used to recite the memory verses and all of it. I was even teaching them the art of paying tithe because I'd learnt it at a very young age.
Whoa.
Yes. Yes, so it has always started from there. I had a very good Sunday school teacher growing up. I can't forget him. Bro Charles was his name.
Wow.
I cannot forget him. He taught us Bible. He taught us the songs in the Bible, the books of the Bible in songs. So there's always been that Bible, that church aspect of me. So even when we grew up and maybe we derailed, we still knew that there was Jesus in us.
The seed was already sown in you. So there was no matter how far you went, you still knew that there was something that was connected to God in you.
Yes.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere.
My tomorrow must be greater than today.
His hands are not short that it cannot reach to you. His eyes are never blind, he cannot see your teeth. His ears are not deaf that he cannot hear you cry. Your tomorrow must be greater than today. Your tomorrow must be greater than today.
No matter what I face,
cannot reach to you. His eyes ain't ever blind. He cannot see your tears. His ears are not.
My tomorrow must be greater than today.
His hands are not short that he cannot reach to you. His eyes ain't ever blind. He cannot see your tears. His ears are not deaf that he cannot hear you cry. Your tomorrow must be greater than today. Your tomorrow must be greater than today.
No matter what I face, no matter what I see,
No matter what comes
no
my
matter
way.
what comes my way,
Hey.
no matter how I grow.
Welcome back. We'd like to find out from our guest in the studio, Mrs. Sophie David Jones. I'd like for her to tell us, how did you meet with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? From all indications, I can tell you are a believer.
Yes,
You're
I
a
am.
Christian. You're God-fearing. How did you meet with Jesus? Can you remember?
Okay, like I said, I'd always grown up in that atmosphere. Though my dad wasn't going to church, he didn't go to church, but my mom really did her best to bring us up in the ways of the Lord. In fact, I recall going to boarding house. We could say we must recite Psalm 23, Psalm 27, Psalm 51, Psalm 91 before we slept, and she taught us all that.
Okay.
Now, when we grew up in FGC Abloma, where that's my alma mater, my secondary school, we also had our Protestant service, and also we knew Jesus. But I would say I had an encounter with him when I joined Redeemed Campus Fellowship in the university.
Okay.
Yes, I think that was my first encounter. When I got into the university, I was looking for which church to settle.
Yes.
I stumbled into Christ Embassy, Winners, and all. But I think there was just something about RCF, Redeemed Campus Fellowship, that made me stay, and I'm delighted I did. That's where I would say I had an encounter with Jesus.
What year was this? Can you remember?
This was 2002, 2003. Yes.
Okay. So what was life like before you encountered Jesus? What some words were you exposed to? What was the worst things that you did?
What are the worst things I've done? Well, we've been there. We've done that. we've been to the other side, Growing up was beautiful. My dad, they did all they could with mom, but my parents were separated when I was 13.
Okay.
Yes.
Did I have any particular would I call it?
It had a very big
pressure
impact.
in your upbringing and so on.
Yes. In fact, if there's anything I'm passionate about, is marriages must work. I try my best to ensure that I have an organization called Pearls of Great Price to train, to develop married women, to see how we can make marriage work.
Okay.
It's only in the aspect of when it is physically abusive that you can say, okay, there is need to take a break. Because of the hurt of my childhood, I try to see how we can make homes better. So even when the challenges of my own marriage came, I'd always said I would do all I can to make this marriage work. And I know I did. Yes. So prior to that time, after the divorce, going into university, we had friends. We went partying, we went clubbing, we had opposite sex as friends, we did it, but we still had Jesus somewhere lurking in the background.
Okay,
we still had him.
So far, has there been regrets in your encounter with God? Can you say there has been challenges, there have been times where you wished, I wished I was in the world back again? How has the journey been so far?
Right now, it's better. But there was a time in my life I nearly derailed. because I so believed God for something. I so believed that He was going to prove Himself to me at that point. But He didn't. Or should I say, maybe like they say, God knows best. But I was hurt, I was disappointed, I was angry, I was filled with pain. And at that moment, I nearly slipped. Yes.
Wow.
But I had some good pillars to hold me. I used to say I may not be a billionaire I may not have billions in my bank account, but I am rich in friendship.
Wow.
Yes. I am rich in friendship. I had people that God used to hold my hands in the most trying times of my life.
Wow.
Yes.
The gifts of worthy friendship.
Oh, it's
very important.
It is very, very necessary.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you? Okay, would you like to share with us some of the things you experienced? Because you mentioned this particular scenario now.
Yes.
This is something you want us to know about.
Yes.
What actually happened?
Yes.
And how you came through it.
Okay. Now, like I said earlier, I came from a divorced home, so I'd always wanted my marriage to work, and I'm the first daughter of my family, so I'd always had this be a role model thing to your sisters. Don't let, especially as we were girls, so I told my sisters that they are expecting us to fail, but we have to show them that girls will turn out well.
Wow.
That we must stand out and come out well. So I'd had that at the back of my mind. Pushing through life now, I had relationships that proposed marriage, but I'd always wanted to be God's will. I said, God, it has to be your own will. Before I settled for my husband, I even had 4 proposals. Well, meaning young men. They were good. Even one was even in church. I recall my pastor was even saying, Sophia, I'll tie you round his neck. I said, so I'll cut off that rope and fall down, because there was just something that wasn't so right. So when I met my husband, I felt this was God's will. And I'd also had something in my wallet that this is how I'm going to age and grow with my husband. It was pasted in my wardrobe immediately I got married.
Wallet or wardrobe?
Wallet. I had it in my wallet, but when I got married, I pasted it in my wardrobe. Yes, that I will age with my husband this way. So I had that at the back of my mind. But when troubles in marriage come, I'll tell him, see, last we go our separate ways. So I'm a child of a divorcee, and we turned out well. But I still knew that I would do whatever I can to make my marriage work and be good. Now, in the course, just 2 years into my marriage, something slapped us called cancer. I was just 2 years old in marriage when my husband was diagnosed with this monster, and we battled it for 5 years. We did the surgery in India, we came back, it was good, it was recuperating, but as of 2018, it hit him again, and 2019, it was all over. Now, before then, I had always said, God, I have an agreement that I will grow old and grey with my husband. My children will not know the pains of divorce or separation. So I didn't know that it would be the pains of death,
of loss,
that they would feel. So it was a big blow.
Wow.
It was a big blow. I recall looking at that picture and I brought it out. I wanted to tear, but my pastor's wife was there. And so she collected it back from me. She said, Sophie, no. This may have been a chapter in your life that was over, but don't split this paper. So at that point, it was really bad, because I would say I did everything humanly possible for my husband to be alive. I used to say I will never be called a widow. My kids will never be called fatherless. But it was bad that those words came to be. So I was really hurt.
Wow.
I was really hurt.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay, I've known you to be a very cheerful person, in spite of all you have gone through. The story you shared with us now is not something I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, even those days when you went through all these trials,
Oh yeah.
I knew you to be still a cheerful person. Okay, you went about your job, you went about your businesses as if nothing was troubling you.
Because I was positive that this was just a phase and will come out.
And indeed, even in the passing, I agree with your pastor's wife that said, this was a phase. This is a season. And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, okay, and who are called according to His purpose. In spite of what it is we go through, we know that God is in charge.
Yes.
So, our friends out there would love to know the secrets. How come you were able to go through all of this and still wear a positive vibe all the time? You're a person I know to be with a cheerful demeanor. So how do you go about this? How does it work for you? What gives you that inner joy from within?
What gives me that inner joy from within? I would say perhaps it's my personality. Growing up, I came across the book Why You Act the Way You Do
By
Tim Lahai. I read that book and it has actually helped me. It has helped me even in position of leadership where I have to diagnose how people are and how people relate. So I've been able to relate with people in that aspect.
Okay.
So it has also helped me to know that this is my person. I'm a sanguine, I'm a choleric. So those two characteristics that help me, even if there is, the spirit-filled temperament, which goes beyond the why you act the way you do. Yes. So I know those two had always helped me.
With your understanding of emotional intelligence.
Yes, that has helped me. I'm naturally an enthusiastic person. I just feel that no matter how what happens in life, you can make something out of those negativity around you. You definitely can make something for the sake of others. And then I've always had one mantra: it could have been worse.
Very true.
It could have been worse. Yes, though it could be better, but it could have been worse. So whatever happens to me, I say, it could have been worse indeed. And with that, I'm ready to push every other thing and move on. So that has helped me.
Whoa.
My mantra that it could have been worse has really helped me.
Very interesting.
Yes.
I feel motivated myself. So basically the idea is whatever life throws at you,
Yes.
ask God what you can do with the lessons you're going to learn from that phase.
Yes.
Because life is in chapters.
It is.
Men are in sizes, right?
Yes.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
The bigger you are on the inside, the bigger you can become on the side. Build your inner man spiritually and mentally.
Thank you so much, Life Center Network. Keep watching, keep listening, keep following. Thank you.
All right, my name is Godman Akinlabi, lead pastor of the Elevation Church, and I'm inviting you to keep watching Life Center Network.
Okay, so Life Center and Network is the place where you get every information and everything that has to do with education and, of course, entertainment. So I just want to tell you, keep watching
Life Center Network. Thank you.
Keep watching Life Center Network. Keep watching Life Center Network. Don't stop watching.
Please keep watching Life Center Network.
Thank you so much, Mama.
Absolutely. Please, I encourage all my friends, associates, and every good person of Obi Akwa River State. Keep watching Life Center Network.
My tomorrow must be greater than today.
His hands are not short that it cannot reach to you. His eyes are never blind, he cannot see your teeth. His ears are not deaf that he cannot hear you cry. Your tomorrow must be greater than today. Your tomorrow must be greater than today.
No matter what I face,
No matter
what I see,
no matter what comes my way.
comes my way,
Yeah.
no matter how I cry.
Welcome back. This is my story, His glory. Are you getting blessed? All right. I'd like for us to get on with the last bit with our guest in the studio today, Mrs. David Jones. I would like to find out, do you have a word for the widows out there? You have a word for those that are downtrodden, those that are frustrated, disappointed, those that have reasons to give up in whatever endeavor they are into. What word of advice or counsel would you have to say to them?
Well, I'll tell them. Yes, I will tell them it could have been worse. I was only 2 years in my marriage when this monster came, and when we battled it for 5 years, and it finally ended. I still said it could have been worse because it could have happened after 2 years. And in those 2 years, I had 2 babies. Whoa. It could have been worse. I wouldn't even have had any child. I wouldn't even have had anyone at all. In fact, even the second one, because I married, my husband was a planner, so he really wanted to plan our lives. And so when the second one came and the first was only 9 months, we were already thinking of something else. But thank God we kept it, because I call God the master planner as a result of that. Nothing happens in our lives that He hasn't programmed or planned. I could share, I have so much to share, but because of time. But I'll just leave those 3 messages with them. February 2019, I had a dream twice that I was paid a condolence visit. I prayed, I fasted, we did midnight prayers. We said, God, please revoke this thing. There can be no condolence visit. But June, it came to pass. Prior to, I think that June, guess what, Mr. Tony? It was after the program, the last program we had, as I was driving home. I said, God, I am tired of this situation. What do you want us to do at this moment? And I heard a voice say to me, I'm taking him home to rest. That was the last Saturday I did an MC job. Yes. The next Saturday, I became a widow. So I heard him speak to me expressively. Although I wasn't still happy, but at least he had prepared me. So to you out there, if there is anything you need, it is God as your anchor. Because when God is your anchor, no matter the storms and the challenges, He will definitely be there. Because there's a Bible verse I love. It said, I didn't say you will not walk through the waters, but when you walk through the waters, you will not drown. I didn't say you won't go through the fire, but when you go through it, you won't be burnt. So whatever it is that is the situation, He will be there. He will definitely carry you through. And He will make a way of escape for you. I have a friend who always tells me that He will make a way of escape. So just remember that it could have been worse. Though it could have been better, but it could have been worse. So let that be a guiding light as you go through in life. Another anchor I've had is my name. My name is Ifiok. It means wisdom, which is also Sophie. So I'd always love that. I always say, God, give me wisdom to weather the storm. We don't joke with names. The significance of our names, you don't joke with it. So I always say, God, I need wisdom for this situation. Please give me wisdom. And I have what I call the acronyms. So I do that, the acronyms of my name. The S is for sophistication. The O is for optimistic. So I always say, whatever it is that life throws, I'm going to be optimistic about the situation. I'll be positive about the situation. And my I stands for independent. I'm going to have to be independent, whatever it is. So I would love you to go do a name game. Spell out the acronym of your name. If your name is Ada, write the ADA, and then write it out.
Would you also love for us to do a name change? Because I'm thinking I could also change my name to Wisdom.
No, Mr. Tony, what's the meaning of Tony?
Tony, I think it's strength.
Okay, so that's it. The meaning of your name matters. Tony is strength. So you always say, God, I need your strength in whatever it is.
My desire.
Oh, beautiful. So your desires, you have to use your name in prayer.
There's
my desire will come.
So badly that I
doesn't
won't
come.
Get.
Oh, I applaud to that. Your name is something that shouldn't be joked with at all.
Wow.
Yes.
So your name is a prophecy.
Yes.
Your name is a prayer.
Yes.
Your name is a testimony.
Yes.
And so on. Okay. We are in a world where a lot of youths, especially in this part of Africa, a lot of youths no longer believe in education. They no longer believe in due process.
Yes.
You just want to get rich quickly. Ladies want to hook up. Men want to do Yahoo Plus and all manner of games that can help them to get rich as quickly as possible. As an educationist, can we still encourage the youths to believe in the educational system and process, or what they are doing right now, is it a recommended pathway to success?
Not at all. Whether we like it or not, education is very vital. Learning to read, learning to communicate, learning to speak would always stand you out. Even if we see the rich millionaires or stuff, they still get education, informal education, one way or the other.
Personal development.
Yes, they go for that personal development. They take courses, they do programs to stand you out up there. So there is no way we can cut education. There's no way we can sideline it. It's very important. When you now add it to whatever it is you're doing, it stands you out. There is something when you introduce yourself and you know that you're introducing yourself as someone that has been through the university, or may not have been through the university but has taken development courses. Yes, there is always a difference between you and an illiterate. Would you want to be called a literate or an illiterate? Would you want to be called a rich literate or a rich illiterate? It depends on you. And no matter how it is, even if you grow up, you get married, spouses will change. Your spouse may decide to develop himself or herself. Later in life, that intimidation will come. Oh, is it because I didn't go to school? Or is it because I don't have this degree? I've seen it happen. Even in the point that the husband wants to go for masters and PhD, and the wife is already feeling he's leaving me behind, or vice versa. So it's always good to at least have that background, secondary school, university education, then you can now build on the others. But education is a must. There is something about being a graduate. Oh, I'm a graduate of this. Mr. Tony, it adds a feather to your cap,
It does, yeah.
Yes.
It sure does.
Oh, it does. No matter the million sitting in your account, there is that thing. There is that confidence it builds as well.
So education is key.
Yes, it is.
We must encourage ourselves to develop ourselves as much as we can in our chosen area.
Yes.
Think of an area of skill, an area of interest, and develop yourself.
True.
Either formally or informally.
Yes.
Okay, would you want to say anything else to our friends out there?
Oh.
In parting.
Okay, so in parting, I would love to tell them, there's a proverb my dad told me when I was 18 years old. He said to me, the person that pushes you to fight will not hold your back when you fall. I'd never forgotten that. And I always tell that to my students, to my pupils, to my even adults. So most times, not because a lot of things are happening, we want to follow the trend. He that tells you to fight. Fighting is first of all what? In a negative sense. So most times people may want to push us to do something negative. Don't fall for it. Because they won't hold your back when you fall.
Okay, beautiful. Be careful. People that are pushing you to fight won't hold your back when you fall.
Yes. And don't forget, do a name game challenge today. Find out the meaning of your name. Go ahead and find out why your parents gave you that name. Now ask yourself, how has this name affected my life? And then the fourth assignment I will have for you today as a teacher that I am is get positive adjectives with the first letters of your name.
Wow, it's been an interesting session with our friend in the studios, Mrs. Sophie David Jones.
Thank
you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Hope you had fun as much as I did.
Yes.
Thank you. God bless you. Love you.
Jesus is writing my story. It's redeeming the time.